Hello everyone, and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 2 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Crescent axe, and I've got to say, when I first used this weapon, I didn't really like it at all. I thought it was a horrible weapon, and soon after I started using it, I realized that I was a complete idiot. Reason being, I didn't use an upgraded version of this weapon. I just used a +0 one that I had just picked up. And when I realized that problem, I went and upgraded it, and ever since I've had a really good time with this weapon. It's been a very enjoyable one to use and surprisingly effective. Now, getting started with the Crescent axe, it requires 25 strength and 14 dexterity in order to wield. When fully upgraded, it has a B scaling in strength and a C in dexterity, as well as an E in magic. Now that E in magic really isn't going to do you too terribly much, which is why I use this weapon on my quality build. The physical base damage of the weapon is 210, the magic damage, the magic base, is 80, and the attack rating on my build is 475 with a Ring of Blades +2, so that's a 425 without one. The counter strength of this weapon is 110, the poise damage is 30 per hit, and the weight is 12 units. Now, that weight is the only thing this weapon has in relation to the class that it's in. Surprisingly, the Crescent axe is actually listed as a Great Axe class weapon, and I really feel like that's probably an error, to be perfectly honest. The weight, yes, that is somewhat in range. It's still low for a Great Axe, but it's too high to be a standard axe class weapon, because usually they're between 3 and 6, with most of them being 4, I do believe. Really though, I really think that's a problem. I think that's an error in everything, and I don't know. It doesn't really matter too terribly much, since that's the only thing that's somewhat in common. I mean, it doesn't have the added benefit of being unable to be parried when two-handed, and that's a con, I'd have to say. It doesn't have that ability like the rest of its class, but it is what it is. Overall, I'd have to say that the biggest pro of this weapon would definitely be the reach. Because of that reach, you're able to take advantage of the benefit that all axe class weapons have with their moveset, and that's the ability to bait attacks and do combos. But with that reach, you're able to do them from even farther away, which, I mean, how can you go wrong with keeping someone farther away from you? I personally think that's a very good thing. It catches people off guard. You're able to catch them after they roll, as they roll, very, very easily. And, you know, it's really hard to go wrong with that, to be perfectly honest. So, other than that, I'd have to say that the other pros of this weapon would definitely be, surprisingly, the damage output. The 475 attack rating, that's good if you hit with the sweet spot. That's the thing. This weapon does have a sweet spot. As you can see, that spin to win running attack right there definitely did a fair bit of damage, and that's because I hit with the sweet spot on all 3 swings. Now, the sweet spot, that's something that is a bad thing and a good thing in my opinion. It's a good thing because it adds some skill to the weapon, it adds a little bit of skill requirement to it, and that makes it really kind of enjoyable for me, to be perfectly honest. I think that's a good pro. But for the most part, people will consider it to be a con. Because of the reach, it is definitely a bit awkward to actually land hits in the sweet spot, and it is actually the only weapon with this axe class moveset that has a sweet spot. So it's a bit less user-friendly, but in my opinion, that makes it a lot more fun to use. But I can definitely see why people would consider that a con, so I'm going to say the sweet spot is definitely the biggest con of the weapon. So, other than that, it's a relatively straightforward weapon. It's a typical axe moveset, except for the fact that it's got a spin to win running attack when two-handed, which, you know, that's a halberd thing. And why they gave it that move, I really honestly can't understand why. I mean, I suppose it's like a pole axe, and, you know, that's something that's similar to a halberd in a way, but I don't know. I really don't know what they were thinking with that one. FromSoft will be FromSoft, and we just have to deal with it, I guess. So, yeah, that pretty much sums up this weapon. The running attacks on it when you're one-handed are very good at chasing people down. The R2 attacks, both one-handed and two-handed, are good at hitting people mid-roll. The combos, I mean, you got your typical Axe class combos, R1, R1, R2, R2, R1, R1, that sort of stuff. Really, it's just a straightforward weapon. Treat it like any Axe class weapon with some extra reach, and you're going to be fine. So that pretty much is everything I've got to say about this thing. Hope you guys found the video helpful in one way or another. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you all next time.